Alright, so data structures. Let's think about the best way to work with this. Now, we could do this where it's like a yes or no. So if there's A, then there's B. Or if there's A, you go to A's little path, alright? And if there's B, you go to B's little path. So if that's the case, then this path doesn't exist. You can only do two, which would be an easier way to do this. So maybe we'll start with that. You can only have two options. It's yes or no. The other way would be to have these multiple options. But I don't know if I can do that in 10 minutes. You know what? I can do that in 10 minutes. All right. We're having multiple options. That's what we're doing. So we're good like that. Okay. All right. So we have multiple options. Okay. Lost a square there. All right. Let's think about an object, data structure object, to do that for us. In fact, let's even be snazzy and create it new. Java class for our object. What would this be called? Let's call it path, because that's kind of what it is. It's a path. Ignore this warning unless you're doing production code. That's what I'd say. Is that this warning is pretty much just a warning. All right, so lots of crap there. Public class path. Cool. All right. So our path. It's a text adventure. So things we might want to include in it would be, I'm going to make the constructor a little different this time. Okay. We're going to have things here. What would we want? All right. So path would be a question and then a response that would kind of denote where we go. Now, do we want to make our responses to where they're if statements, where if it's 1 or 2, then it does this or this? Or do we want to make it a little different, where it's like, okay, if it's greater than 1, if it's less than 1, there's a lot of different ways to expand this. We will do something a little more complicated though. Let's do if it's like 1 or 2, then we're gonna go and do another path, and if it's 3 or 4, we'll do it. We'll do that path. So each answer has its own path. All right. So the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna have a question. We're gonna take in a question, okay, but we're gonna take in answers as well. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you guys something. There is such a thing. Usually you do arrays before this, but these are more useful. They are called hash maps. What is a hash map? See, this is why I don't think I can do it in 10 minutes. Hash maps are really cool and really useful, and they work like this. ASDF, okay? Whenever I type in ASDF or do a lookup on that, I can get something back. Maybe I can even get an object back, okay? Or maybe I have a different thing, and I can also get an object back, okay? And in JavaScript, you can be even weirder than this. You can have a number and you get an object, and you can have a string and you get a number. You can mix and match them, but in Java, you have to declare your type, so you can't do that as easily. But with our little question answer bit, what we can do is we can have a hash map where we have a response, which is, we'll do it as a string, okay? And that would relate to a path that would be taken, okay? So this might not have been the best tutorial because of all the little recursions that come in here, but I think you guys are smart enough. So we'll do it this way. All right, hash map. We're going to take in a string, which is our answer, and we're going to wind up with a path, okay? All right, and those are all the possible answers. I do have to use the hash map object, which is in util, because it is so useful. So all right, That's what we'll take in. We'll ask the question. So system.out. Well, let's do this somewhere else actually. We'll have a method, okay? Alright, so we'll ask it, and what that will do is we'll print out the question. Ooh. Question, that's not how you do it. Hey, spelling. Alright. What did I do? Oh, right. Guys, what's the scope of question? I don't know what that is. You have to declare it. Okay. This is kind of cool, actually. This dot question is equal to question. How does that work? The scope of this question, you can kind of tell by the color coding, anywho, but scope of this question is only within, between these brackets. Scope of this question is without it, is outside of it. So when I reference this dot question versus just question, it's that scope versus this scope, okay? We also have answers, which are those guys, okay, just a colon, and this dot answers equal to answers. All right, done with the constructor. Print out the question. It's taken the response, okay, to do a little scanner. I'm going to show you guys a shortcut too, because I'm lazy. All right, oh, you have to import it. All right, shortcut again, because I'm lazy. If I know that I just want a string, so answer is equal to that, what I can do is declare an object, not assign it at all, and then do whatever method I would call on it. Okay, so scan, or next line, sorry. Alright, so I just created this object. It's in nowhere land. I call this method on it. Java's garbage collection system will actually take the resources for this and like pretty much forget them, which is pretty nice, because it means I don't have to worry about any of that at all. So alright, if we have the answer in our answers collection of things, okay, so keep in mind this is how this works. Alright, we have an answer that relates to an object or a path, okay, and we have a bunch of those. Alright, that goes on for however long we want it to go on. So at every path you have a few options you can choose. If that answer is in our answers, so answers dot, I think it's has key, let's go with that. This would be a great example of using JavaDoc. Alright, so we have our hash map, and here's all the methods we can call on it. Just kidding, here's all the methods. Values contains key. Alright, so if it contains the key, we'll do something, and otherwise do something else. Alright, check out the next video.